Welcome to this video where we're going to be talking you through the 8 golf gear mistakes not to make in 2021. During various lockdowns and COVID related breaks from golf, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have had a bit more money to spend on your golf equipment and a bit more time to think about what parts of your bag really need addressing in terms of upgrades to your golf clubs. So hopefully this video will give you a really good idea as to the type of pitfalls golfers often fall into in buying new equipment, and hopefully you haven't fallen foul of any of the mistakes that we're going to highlight in this video. So make sure you watch to the end. But without further ado, let's dive into the 8 golf gear mistakes not to make in 2021, starting with your laser rangefinder. Most laser rangefinders in 2021 will come with slope functionality, so a function that essentially takes into account changes in elevation to give you even more accurate distances. But that functionality isn't legal for competition play, so you need to make sure it's disabled when you're playing in a competition like a medal at your local club. And some devices are more easy to turn off that functionality than others. I've got the Bushnell Tour V5 Shift here, which has a button on the side, which you just turn to the side and then you can see has that red indicator that lets you know when the slope functionality is enabled. But there are some other lasers that are a bit more tricky to do that functionality and don't have as clear a visual aid that will let your playing partners know that that function is disabled. So make sure you turn it off for your competition play. And even if you're playing in a friendly round, maybe for some money with your friends, maybe check with them to see if they're using their slope functionality so they're all on the same page and you're not gaining an advantage over them. So yeah, just something to bear in mind with your laser rangefinder. Turn the slope function off when you're playing competitions. Now the next golf gear mistake relates to your ego and how it really is important to put your ego to one side when choosing a new club. You know, don't get me wrong, we all want to play the blades that Rory McIlroy plays, or the certain clubs that tour pros play, but actually you need to think about the club that is best for you, and also think about trying new things. Don't be afraid to try something different. There are a whole lot of options out there that think outside the box that could actually really help you out. A classic example of this being the Cobra 1 length irons. I've got the new Rad Speed 1 length here in my hand. That's just something definitely you should try. Try arm lock putting. Try something different that could transform your game. If you're really struggling in a certain area of game, there are a whole host of different options out there from all the different manufacturers, and it's only through trial and error will you understand which one works for you. Don't be narrow-minded, be open-minded to all the different options out there. Put your ego to one side and choose the best clubs for you. Now, the next golf gear mistake relates to choosing clubs based on distance alone. Yes, distance is a relatively important factor. We've seen it becoming a more prevalent trend out on tour. Golfers looking to hit the ball further because there are gains to be had. But don't just pick a new club based on how much further it goes versus what you currently play or other clubs that you're testing, because distance is not the be all and end all, especially when it comes to irons. For me, I don't necessarily want my irons to go any further than what they are at the moment. I just want them to hit the number that I want them to hit as consistently as possible. And actually, extra distance creates a bit of a headache for me because it produces gapping issues at both ends of the set. And even with driver, while you might think, oh, driver, it's all about hitting it as far as you can, but actually, if you're choosing a driver based on distance, the chances are it's going to be very low spinning. It's going to be great out of the middle, but out of those off-centre hits, out on the course, you're probably going to be finding it curving offline a bit more. You're going to be finding the rough a lot more, and it's going to be difficult to score. So you obviously want a more balance between distance and accuracy. So really think about the playability of a driver. Obviously, yes, if it's long and accurate, that's the most important thing. We've definitely found that with this driver. The Ping G425 Max is a classic example of a driver that's long, but also very straight. You want to find a driver that balances those two things, and if you can do that, your scoring should improve. Right, so the next golf gear mistake relates to golf shoes, and I've lost count, playing at my course, the amount of times I see people who I've played with for many years rocking up in the same pair of golf shoes year after year. While they might be they seem relatively functional, regardless of how old they are, actually, you are going to be sacrificing feel and performance and control the more you play. This is the oldest pair of shoe I've got. I'm blessed with having a lot of different pairs of golf shoes, so I haven't got a really old pair to show you, but as you can see, it's very, very tired. The grip is worn down. You're not going to get as much traction from an old pair of shoes. You're not going to get as much stability, and while it might feel comfortable, it's not going to give you the best optimum performance. So think about, if you've been wearing a pair of golf shoes for 3 or 4 years and they're looking a bit tired, the chances are you're not getting the most out of them. So really invest in a new pair of golf shoes. I think you will really genuinely feel and experience the difference that they make, you know, both in terms of the control you have during the swing, the comfort, and the grip you have from different lies. So yeah, definitely one to consider. Golf shoes, not a massively expensive purchase, but they can make a big difference to your experience out on the course. We all know irons these days are getting longer and longer. Part of that is down to stronger lofts, but also advancements in technology and design to give you more distance. And the combination of those things means the fact that if you are getting fitted for a set of irons, the chances are they will go further than what you had before. But what you really need to think about is the repercussions of that extra distance in the makeup of your bag. So if you've got irons that are going longer, you need to think about the lofts of your wedges and make sure the gapping is nice and even. So if you've got a pitching wedge that's going a little bit further, you might need to think about the loft of your gap wedge and changing that to accommodate that extra distance you're getting from your set, and that will obviously have a knock-on effect on the rest of your wedges depending on how many wedges you want to carry in your bag. So, you know, we recommend kind of gaps of 4 to 6 degrees of loft per wedge in your set, but also think about the other end of the bag as well. So if you've got a 5 iron that's going a bit further, you might need to think about adding a number of hybrids to fill the gap between your fairway wood and your longest iron. With buying a set of irons, it isn't as simple as having your old set, taking them out and putting your new set in. There will be repercussions in terms of those extra distances that you're likely to experience. Not in all cases, but in most cases, especially if you're going for a game improver style set, you just need to think about the knock-on effect of the gapping on both ends of the bag. Now, the next golf gear mistake not to make relates to shot tracking. It's becoming a more prevalent trend in 2020 and then into 2021. Various different devices out there that enable you to track your performance out on the golf course in real time. Things like Arcos, ShotScope, really useful. They do it quite passively. You can gain some really good insights. But the crucial mistake that golfers make would be not to edit the data in a way that makes it more accurate and more realistic. So, you know, out on the golf course, there will be situations where you use clubs that you don't normally use in certain situations, and that can skew the distances that are provided on the insights that you get on your phone after your round. So, for example, you know, out on the ground, I might use my 7 iron to do a chip and run from around the green. I might use it to chip out from the trees, and that can skew the distance data. You might think, when it takes into those shots into account, your 7 iron actually doesn't go as far as you might think. So make sure you go through the shots that you hit on your app, whether it's Arcos or ShotScope. Try and delete those shots or mark them as anomalies on your app, and that should help you get clearer, cleaner data for your iron shots and let you know really exactly how far they're going, where your misses are, and those insights, the more realistic they are, the more beneficial they are to you. Now, the next golf gear mistake is another one on irons, and this time we're talking about combo sets with irons and a reluctance from golfers to buy combo sets because it can affect the resale value of their irons, because fewer golfers might be less inclined to buy a set based on the point at which you've decided to combo your set. They might want to do it differently or get a full set with the same model through the bag. So, you know, if I use a combo set, I've got P770 here in the longer irons and P7 MCs in the short irons, and that's because I want to get the best performance and feel for every club in the bag. Your golf club is a tool designed to do a specific job, and therefore it needs to be designed to do that as best as it can, and I feel like combo setting is the best way to do that. Most commonly we have slightly larger, more forgiving irons in the longer irons where those clubs are a bit more difficult to hit. Then you have maybe more feel orientated clubs in the short iron to give you more precision, better feel, a bit more control. You know, when you're buying a set of irons, the goal is to have the best performance for every club in the bag, and a combo set is often the best way to do that. And if you go through a fitting, you might well experience that yourself. Now, the last golf gear mistake relates to these. That's right, it's your golf ball. And the biggest mistake I see golfers make is reaching into their bag and picking out any random old golf ball that they've found on the course the previous week. You know, mixing different makes and models of golf ball, you know, can impact the performance that you experience. Ultimately, we want our golf ball to be predictable and consistent. You don't want to hit a shot and it perform in a way that you weren't expecting. And if you're choosing different makes and models of golf ball, the chances are it's going to do that. So make sure you obviously do some testing, find out which one is best for your game and also your budget as well, but really commit to it and invest in it. So buy 2 or 3 dozen that's going to tide you over for a number of months. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you don't lose them. I think that predictability of ball flight, how it reacts around the greens, the control you have with your iron shots, the distance that it goes on different clubs through the bag, that will only build up more kind of knowledge over time and how it's going to perform, and that should help you predict the results out on the golf course, and you should get rewarded therefore when you hit a good shot. So there you have it, that's the 8 golf gear mistakes not to make in 2021. Hopefully you haven't fallen foul of any of these, and if you were about to fall foul of them, hopefully this video has given you some food for thought in terms of your decision making and how you're going to go about investing in some new golf equipment this year. Guys, if you did like the video, make sure you click the like button down below and do click the subscribe button if you want to get notifications about all the video that drops on the Golf Monthly YouTube channel, and comment down below, have you fallen foul of any of these mistakes, and have we missed out any? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section, so do let us know. But that's all for me from Burley Park Golf Club. I'll see you next time.